All right. All right. How's everybody doing tonight?
Awesome.
Good.
Hey, I like to hear that. Welcome, everybody, to Rogues Gallery Live. This is episode number 36. I have this one entitled Bombshell. Did XM Studios change the game this week? So that's going to be our primary topic of conversation. We're also going to talk about what's been going on with DC and Diamond. That was a big story this week also. And we have another few other topics that we might approach as well. But just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. And I also want to say hello and introduce everyone in the gallery tonight. Right below me here is Mr. McMackin from Mac Collections. Say hello to Mac.
Hello.
Hey, Mac, what's happening, buddy?
What's up, everybody? What's happening? What's happening?
Say hello to Mac.
That's right. That's right. Mac Daddy in the house. Absolutely. We also have with us from Wayne Manor North, Mr. Dan Dufault with us.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here again. 2 nights in a row, Chris.
That's right. That's right.
It's a thing.
That was an epic double unboxing. That was so much fun. And it was a crazy day because we did our unboxing and DCX did, I think, 2 different unboxings. Is that right, Mac?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. I got to catch a little. I got to catch a little bit of it because both my sons were playing baseball last night, but got to catch up a little bit with both shows. So that was awesome. That was really cool. And you definitely have the screenshot of the month.
The screen.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah.
Or Thor. That was
the
great.
Government?
Yeah, that was really funny. That was really funny. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out in the DCX group. Thor got visited by the government last night, and that was really funny. So definitely check that out. It was to see his face. He's like, he had no idea, like, what is going on. So that was really funny. So anyway, check that out. So we said hello to Mac. We said hello to Dan. Let's also say hello from Jeff from Secret Sanctuary. And it's just Jeff tonight. He's the only Jeff tonight.
I'm Jeff number 1.
Hey!
Nice to be back, guys. From
Hey,
90 degrees Southern California.
Oh, man.
90 degrees.
Yep. Pretty warm where I am also. Definitely baseball weather, that's for sure. Hot. Hot. And with us once again, Rick is back with us this week. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Chris. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're really glad that you're here back with us again. And again, I just want to say hello to everybody that's watching right now. I want to give a real quick shout out to people in the chat. Before we get started here, we've got Edwin Diaz. Hello, Edwin. We've got 5N2L. Kenny Santiago says bombshell. Absolutely. I'm not sure, but Mopar X 1989. Hello. G folks. We've got Mac. Man, we got double Mac tonight. I like
Double
that.
Mac.
Or is it, I guess it'd be triple Mac. Mac.
Yeah, there's another Mac that's out there. What up?
We've got Levi in the house. Hello. GV is with us. Martin says, hello, everyone. Have a large coffee in hand and shall relax and enjoy what I'm sure shall be a very pleasant evening. I like to hear that. That's awesome.
Man, he really gave us high expectations, guys.
I know. I hope
Right, the pressure.
I hope we don't ruin his evening.
Oh, man.
Trevor's with us. Thornton Applebottom is with us as well. Benji 3008. Austin. Got Slim Boss. Do I say Mac Main weird? Mac Main? Maybe so.
No,
Maybe so.
you say it all right.
All right.
I've many aliases.
That's right. Macamania, Mac Money. You can go on for hours. I like it.
Mac, yeah.
Mac, you got
Yeah,
something.
you can.
I missed. Somebody else just asked about the Hawkman statue again, Mac. You get asked that, I think, every time we're on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm working on a video for it. I'm just kind of, it's not like a positive video. So like, it's not something that, that I'm like fortunate to like release. So like, it's just one of those things where like I gave, like, it's not bad, but it's just, I don't think Iron Studio is going to like it. But
yeah, I hear you.
you know, I ended up sending. Hawkman went back. I sent it back, so I don't have it. I got see if I'm gonna, completely release that video or not. So
Yeah, I hear you.
But stay tuned.
Mac, those are the best videos. Those are the honest videos are the best ones.
I know. I just it's not my style.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
It's not my style. I don't like to.
where
But
company-
it's true. People do need to know.
Yeah, and the companies need to know. They need to learn from it too.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
Chad told me
Yeah.
from Tweeterhead, he told me that
absolutely.
the hardest video he ever watched was my Wonder Woman video, where I went around my house and said to my wife, what's the #1 rule of statue collecting? No visible seams. I went to my son and asked him question. He said, no visible seams. I guess Chad was crying in his pretzels during that video. I felt bad when he said that, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But it's important. It's important that we're honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I feel like
It is.
I feel like-
It is important.
I feel like all of us reviewers, especially in this group, we're always very positive. We will say if there's something wrong, but we won't trash a piece. We're
Right.
usually not, hateful or anything like that. And so Mac, no matter what you say, I know it's going to be in a good light.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it should be.
No, sorry, man. And there's no need to like be angry about it, because then it's like, well, what are you doing collecting? What are you doing in this
Right.
community? If you're going to be so angry, oh well, the green doesn't match. I mean, come on, dial it down just a little bit, because then people aren't going to start to watch the videos.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy when it comes to the statues that come in. I review them, with a personal take to it. That's why. But the reason why I've been waiting a little bit longer too is because I've been waiting on Iron Studios actually contacted me. So I was waiting on a response from them, which is what's taken so long. So, but
That makes sense.
we'll see.
I'm just glad. I'm glad you got one.
Yeah, well, I got one. Yeah, well, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the response from them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they watched the video, so so we'll see what happens.
That's right. All right. I want to say hello to a few more people. We got Slim Boss is here. Critical Mass. Eric's with us tonight. Hey, Eric. Got Levi. Dark Ranger 7's with us. Hey, Junior Statue Collector. Hey, Junior just got a new statue today, the Red Hood from Prime 1 Studio. So that's awesome. Congrats, Junior. Punisher XS says, yo. Oh, we've got Thor in the house of the government. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. The government.
Let's see. We got Astronomer's World. Love watching these streams. Hey, thanks for watching with us. Let's see. Dylan Hicks. Let's see if I miss anybody here. Got caught up. Dan Blaster. Dan Blaster was on with us last night. Alfonso Adam is with us. Hello. Russell Gunn. Sergio's in the house. Jason Ludwig. B-Dub3. Let's see. Hugo, good evening to you, sir. Arkham Gaming is with us. Impulse Collecting, hello. Cool Selections with us tonight. And Gary Partridge. So got a lot of folks in. Oh, Danny Spencer also. Thanks for joining us tonight. So before we get started, I just want to thank everybody that watched. I'm not sure what that noise was. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone that showed up last night for a live stream with Dan. That was so much fun to do a double live unboxing of this guy right here, which is, man, just look at this thing. Just absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a lot of fun doing the live unboxing last night. And I do want to apologize for my camera quality. Somehow I got dinged down to 480, and I just apologize. So, Dan, you look great.
Doesn't it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut anybody off. But doesn't it? It just downgrades it for the first upload. But then can't you raise it higher?
I don't know.
can
I always
select it.
have it. I always have it set at the highest resolution that I can. Like StreamYard only goes up to 720, but I think I had it set at 480 instead of 720, so it recorded lower quality. So anyway, I just want to apologize because I hated that. I wanted it clear for you guys, but I do appreciate everybody that watched. I can't believe how many people watched it. It was awesome. So, and congrats again to Dan on an amazing piece.
Oh, to you too, man. That was awesome. We got through it. That's the second review in a row. No breakages, no issues. I mean, knock on a lot of wood. No, that was a blast. I mean, real fun. I mean, only 2 now, but I love doing those. Hopefully there are more to come. I know we have a few of the same pieces, I think, coming in over the next 6 to 12 months. So
we do, and I think probably Mac as well. So maybe we could try a triple unboxing this next time.
I need to get a better camera for that. This one I'm using for the live streams is kind of whack.
Live streams are hard unless you're using like OBS Studio, and I'm not very knowledgeable about that. But
it looks fine like backstage, like right now, but like when you watch it on YouTube, it's like almost like invisible, or it was just bad.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Ryan says Chris's feed was rough, but the content was still entertaining. I appreciate that. That was great. So anyway, let's go ahead and go to our topic number 1 for this week, and that is going to be XM Studios. They announced this week that they basically have the license for 1/4 scale statues for DC items. If anybody knows anything about this hobby, Sideshow has owned the 1/4 scale market for a very, very long time. They have, that's why other companies went to 1/3, like Prime One. That's why Prime One does 1/3 or 1/2, and you just don't see very many quarter scales. The way that they did get around that a bit, though, was through the Samurai line. XM Studios does the Samurai line, which are more, and I don't know, it's not true interpretations of those DC characters, and they also limit to where they were allowed to be sold. Of course, there are lots of resellers in the United States and everywhere else that will still get statues for you. Like Dan, you have the XM pieces.
I do.
Some of the Samurai line. Does anybody else? I can't remember if anybody else in this panel has any of those pieces.
Jeff.
Okay, Jeff, which ones do you have?
I have Batman and Deathstroke.
Okay. 2 amazing pieces, by the way.
Yes.
So XM Studios announces that they now will have the 1/4 scale license for Malaysia, and there was one other place. So what do you guys think about this? Is the 1/4 scale game about to change with XM now pretty much going to be able to compete with Sideshow? Of course, getting these pieces are still going to be a little bit more difficult. You still have to go through somebody or through a retailer like Todd, but I'm anxious to hear your thoughts about this announcement this week.
Was there any exclusivity?
Say that again.
I said, was there any exclusivity with it? Was it just like, hey, we are exclusive to the 1/4 size out of DC, so that negates Sideshow from doing any more of those, or they're just entering in the 1/4 scale arena?
They are just now in that 1/4 scale arena. They're only supposed to be selling to certain parts of Asia.
Right.
So they got this license from DC, which obviously DC and Sideshow have an agreement to be the 1/4 scale licensor for the rest of the world. But I would imagine that Sideshow and other companies are not happy about that announcement.
I wonder, Chris, how XM gets around the bringing their Samurai pieces into the U.S. So assume that's just not a violation of the license agreement, even though they're going through a 2-tier distribution. I wonder, that just must not violate the license, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right, because if they got the license to sell in Malaysia or anywhere else in Asia,
right?
I don't think that. I think they shut somebody like Todd down pretty quickly. If it was you know, for a traditional interpretation of the character, for example.
Yeah.
I read, and I can't remember whose post it was in the group, was saying that I think it was somebody from XM. I don't remember if it was Aang or someone else, but they were saying that one of the first runs they're going to do is the Dark Knight Metal series.
Yeah.
And do you think that XM is shipping to the US, or is another source in Asia getting it from XM and then shipping to Todd and other people?
Right.
That seems more likely to me.
I have to believe that's just how it is. It's just basically a resale private transaction. It's really not a true distribution agreement, which tells me that, you know, the resellers like Todd, I mean, they're probably working on fairly thin margins when you've got two middlemen in play.
Right.
Has to be that.
I suppose that's how they're getting around the license agreement, though, is they're selling to Asia.
Right.
And then middlemen are getting it to the US.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a costly arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've always wondered, because, you know, Joe in Asia buys the statue and then sells it to the different stores.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question. Do you feel like this will affect the relationship with DC and Sideshow? I mean, do you think there'll be any issues there, or do you think it'll just be more competition, basically?
I think more competition for sure, but I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I certainly have. In the last handful of statues that Sideshow's been doing, they've been a lot more taking chances. Look at the Batman to your right, Chris. You know, a few years ago or 1 year ago or even 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago or longer, that would not have been something they would have pursued. And I think Sideshow is now veering into more dynamic poses with their statues, and they're kind of that doesn't mean that they're not going to continue doing static, but I think that they're veering off to compete with the potential of XM doing more dynamic pose with their statues. Because if you look at predominantly most of XM's statues, they are very colorful and very dynamic in their posing and in their profiles, and I think it's gonna put Sideshow on the back foot in having to maybe step up that type of quality up. And I think it's going to challenge them, and I think it's good for competition. But I just don't want Sideshow to throw a temper tantrum.
Yeah. Well, I think we've seen changes at Sideshow within the last year. We talked about it on the last episode. David Igo, who is one of the art directors, he is now working at Tweeterhead, which I think is a great fit. I think it's going to be a really big thing for Tweeterhead. Also, there's been some shuffling around with some of the art directors. And I'm not really know if I'm allowed to talk about certain people, but there's certain people that are art directors now at Sideshow. And I think that's very exciting. I think it freshened things up a little bit for all companies around. You know, I think that anytime you have somebody in one place for a long time, it can get a little stagnant, or the direction tends to kind of repeat itself over and over again. And I think we've seen that from a lot of different companies. And so I applaud any company that's willing to take that risk. Obviously, XM trying to get this license, that's a pretty big risk too, because obviously they've been very successful with their Samurai line, and their Marvel stuff as well. So I don't know. I was just real interested to hear what you guys had to say, because it could be a game changer for that quarter scale market. I don't know if I doubt it will change anything with how people are getting their statues. I think they'll still have to go through that same process. Do you guys see that changing at all?
Yeah, I would say eventually down the road it could change, but in the beginning, no. But there's huge, possibilities with that.
I would think, with licensing, and not to go down that rabbit hole too far, but, DC's got big requirements on how many statues, Sideshow moves, and, which versions of the characters they push and promote. And, there's ties to the movies and to the comics, and there's pretty tight restrictions on that license, I would imagine. So I don't know that you're going to see them bear too far off of where they're at right now directionally, with the exception of what Rick said. I think, their ability to take chances, that they're pretty boxed in by, what DC wants.
Yes.
There's tight constraints there, and I would think with the license XM has, I'm not so sure that they'll have the same restrictions, but it'll be interesting to see.
You just said something that I hadn't really thought of before, but XM just recently went away from their MTO model.
Yeah.
Could it be that could it be because they knew that they have this DC license, and DC usually requires a certain number of items, a certain number of characters? That kind of makes sense to me.
Yep.
I wonder though, when it comes to approvals from DC, if XM is doing Dark Knight Metal in quarter scale, and XM and Sideshow present DC with competing Batman Who Laughs in quarter scale, what does DC do? And have they already set up those parameters where there has to be some sort of time differential between each company doing the same piece? Or is it open to whatever they want to do? There's going to be some interesting scheduling things, I think.
Yep.
Excellent point. For sure.
And again, that's why I think Sideshow would be very angry, obviously, because they've been able to kind of do probably whatever they wanted to do, to a certain degree. I mean, I don't know if DC says these are the characters we want you to make in the next 2 years. I think they probably do. I certainly know that they require a certain number of Batman statues or a certain number of Superman statues made in a certain amount of time, and that is well documented. But Jeff, you bring up a great point about what's going to happen. It could be real interesting to see. With anything, though, I feel like this competition is a good thing. It's going to be good for collectors, certainly.
Right.
Because
and what's going to happen with the XM16 DC line? I don't know that those have been especially great sellers. So you have to wonder if they have the option of doing things in quarter scale, if 16 is going to kind of go away a little bit.
Yeah.
And they switched the, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name now. The Superman villain.
Zod?
Doomsday.
Oh, Doomsday.
Instead of Doomsday in 16, they're doing quarter scale.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which makes me think if you're going to do Doomsday, they got to be planning a Superman in quarter scale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to see that. The other thing that XM has to be careful of is Sideshow's gotten pretty good at stealing their sculptors away. So they got to be really careful that they hang on to the ones that they have now. They've got a few good ones, and they got to keep those. But
yeah, I think it's important that, and I think Sideshow might just in terms of that, I feel like they maybe have a little bit more financial resources because I've heard from sculptors that they work for various companies and they don't get paid as much, or they don't they don't get their own statue, they don't get that offered even to them. And so I think that definitely could be one of those reasons why. And Sideshow is still pretty much the top of the hill, the top of the mountain in terms of selling statues. That might change over the next few years. It's hard to say. I still feel like XM and Prime One's right up there, but they don't have the distribution side of things either. They've tried that, and it's been very difficult to establish anything. Of course, with everything going on in the world, it's probably less likely now to ever happen. But like Max said, time will tell. That could change in the future. But I wanted to bring up that Dark Side deal because do you guys think that they will discontinue that size?
The 1/6?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, they're pretty deep into it.
Tough one.
I don't know. I can see them not taking it any further.
Yeah.
Just kind of going with the run they have.
I can see that.
Yep, I can see that. But I could also see depending on what DC wants XM to do in that part of the world, maybe that's they kind of want to explore maybe that part of the world with collectors and see what XM can do, and then they'll keep the 1/6 as a like a smaller partner run kind of thing. Something like not that Sideshow does the Batman Black and Whites, for example, but Sideshow has been getting over the years. They've been getting into the smaller type statues. Granted, they're not doing them, but they are affording them to collectors. So that could be just maybe like a smaller line, or a smaller line that maybe they'll keep just like on the shelf or something.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that line does for them. I think the same thing for the 1/5 scale Prime 1. It's just, it'll be they've got a couple of really cool statues that Batman, Gotham by Gaslamp, and what's the other one they have too? It's really cool. Can't think of it right now. Anyways, they've got a couple of really cool 1/5, but it's such an odd scale.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yep.
And we've talked before, Dan and I, like we and Mac and all of you guys, we've talked about how we don't like the smaller scale as much because we collect the larger scale. So it's some of that stuff doesn't interest us as much. But I know that there are a lot of collectors that like that size just because of the price point. They like a tweeter head or something else, that they're not spending $800 or $900 per statue, although that's getting to be close to that anymore. It's, the prices keep going up. But I guess let me ask you this. So with the DC 1/4 scale from XM, what would you like to see from them?
Oh man, I want to see some badass stuff is what I want to see. I want to see some serious badass stuff. I would love to see a diorama of Batman fighting someone, and I'm not talking about that Batman Superman diorama with the eyes and the kryptonite ring. No, I'm talking like full on, like that Bane and Batman one where Bane was like Batman was smashed into the base, like not to that degree, but just something a bit more intense and eye grabbing, more graphic.
Yeah, I could see that. That sounds really cool. It's interesting though, because the 1/4 scale. We started off the show when we were talking about the new Batman statues that Chris and I opened yesterday, and there's an example, right, of a 1/4 scale that's done really differently, right? But it also poses a whole different set of opportunity and challenges. There you go for collectors, right? This doesn't fit in a regular 1/4 scale footprint, right? And a perfect example, I've got Bane sitting here behind me. I had originally intended to put Batman here with Bane and with the new Catwoman PF, and he just doesn't fit in the same kind of footprint. I'd be hard pressed to put them together on the same in the same shelf space, right? Display area. So it'll be interesting to see if XM, what do they bring to the party? Is it more kind of dynamic poses? Do they bring their level of detail? I mean, that's what they're known for, right? At least in my eyes, they're known for their detail and their textures and their different approach. If they start to do that, can that blend with Sideshow's PFs? Can you collect them both and have them aesthetically look right? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting.
I think I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mac.
I was going to say, I think they can. I think what they did, like with like the Cyclops, if you see,
that's true.
Yeah, if you see that paired with the Sideshow pieces, I think it looks. I think it looks right. So
yeah, that's a great point, Mac. And so much so that it looks like they did it intentionally.
Yeah, almost. I know, isn't it? It's almost crazy. That's why when I had them, sitting side by side, and I was like, this looks like oddly like this was meant to be.
It really does. I mean, it looks great. It's an awesome piece.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is pretty cool. I watched your review on it. It's badass, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
It really is. To expound a little more on that, Chris, you asked me, and I was just thinking about this, considering the picture I sent you guys and the CGC picture that I'm getting. I would love to see if XM would do it or Sideshow would do it. I would love to see pieces that complement each other, not only together. So, like, for example, the Avengers, right? You have the entire line of the Avengers in the 1/4 scale that are all from either Infinity, War, or Endgame, or whatever, and you can put them all together, and like, hey, great, like that's that line, the Arkham line for Batman. You put them all together, they're from the Arkham line. I would love, or I'd be interested to see XM, if it's a direction they would be interested in going in, is to see, like, Batman and Riddler and Penguin and some of the Rogues Gallery, or even some of the Justice League or DC heroes depicted in a way that you can kind of interchange them with other characters when put together or side by side, that present a scene, whether it's a battle scene with Batman and he's like torn and ripped and stuff, and you can circle him with some of his rogues gallery, or you can line up Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern. You can line them up and they all like complement each other in a specific scene, and that would be kind of neat if they started doing that.
Yeah, I think so.
And it'd be very awesome.
The other thing is that XM doesn't shy away from small edition sizes. So you can get some more obscure characters if they're only going to make 338 of them like they did with Magic. So I think there's really interesting stuff coming out of XM from DC.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, Jeff, about the small edition sizes because, and Rick just brought up the Avengers, and I've got them here over my shoulder. Iron Studio is kind of the same way. There's a few of the pieces that I've got in this corner that are, I think the edition size is 300 or 350. So I don't know how they're able to do that when it seems like Sideshow can't really do anything under 500 to 700.
Right. So maybe that's an opportunity that you guys were talking about, how Cyclops from XM fits in with the Sideshow X-Men stuff. Maybe XM could do a Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, nice.
We'll finally have a complete Justice League display. It'd be great.
I think you've been
I'm not
asking
sure
for that for a
Sideshow's
while.
ever going to do it.
Nah.
And that's what I was wondering. Like I have seen XM pieces in person, but I've never seen them next to a Sideshow item. So I just didn't know if they would match up well. Like, because XM is always cold cast porcelain, right?
Yep.
I believe so.
So how does that look next to the Polystone? Like, Mac, what do you think? Like, do you feel like it?
Yeah, I think it looks just fine. I mean, you can't really. I mean, there's like differences in like I guess like the head sculpt and skin texture. But besides that, I mean, it matches. I mean, I'm right now I'm looking at Cyclops and the Wolverine, but they pretty much look about the same. But you can definitely there's just like a different feeling with like an XM piece. It just because it's just that cold cast porcelain is just it just feels like it just feels like really good quality. So that would be the only difference that I would say. Like look wise, I mean I don't know if anybody that knew a statue and could look at one and tell if it was an XM or a Sideshow piece without without knowing specifically which one is which.
I've always wondered that because if you put a Prime 1 piece next to a Sideshow, they look so different, and there's times where I look at the Sideshow stuff, I'm like, I love that style. I like the finish. I like how it is. Prime 1 is a very different finish.
Yes.
And so I was always curious how those would look together because again, like you guys said, if Sideshow is not going to make a penguin, but XM is, I'm buying that penguin, and I'm going to hope that it's going to fit in my case and fit without standing out and looking so different. That's what I'm afraid of.
XM, to me, XM looks like a small Prime 1.
Yeah,
it's
you can say that.
Very, very, to me, very similar. Where Prime 1 is really good about mixing up the. We were talking last night about the Batman statue with the satin finish and so forth, and the different finish on the base. And I'm looking at Batman Who Laughs right now, and the level of detail and the different textures and finishes they use look to me very much like the Samurai line. Right? When I look over there, they've got matte finishes, satin finishes, glossy finishes, and they blend them all with crazy detail, just like Prime 1. But different than a Sideshow piece. Sideshow doesn't seem to have the same kind of level of intricacy in their finishes. Not to say it's bad, just different.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, so like you're saying that too. Like just the different in detail and paint is definitely noticeable between an XM and a Sideshow. But when you look at a Prime 1 compared to a XM, they're pretty much similar.
Pretty similar. Yep.
So how would you, Mac? How would you rank the finishes? Like your best to lead, your first, second, third. How would you place them?
I would say that's a tough one because it's. I've got like way more Prime 1, so I'm a little bit more like Prime 1 biased. But like when you talk about what comes to mind is like just when I think about like Hulkbuster, like the piece is painted like phenomenal. So like I can't think of like that paint job is you have to see it in person. The paint job is actually it is incredible. Just how they work that, and just like the level of detail and intricacy that is in that statue is like just mind blowing. Prime One is just like detail, like detail upon detail, and their paint is always like, I've never really had a Prime One piece that I've ever had a problem with as far as paint wise. I will say that like Prime One's better, like they're just a lot darker. So like since they do a lot of the DC stuff, everything is just, it's darker and muted. But when you have like an XM piece, there's typically a lot more colors because they're doing like Marvel and stuff like that. But you can paint wise, I would say that they're very similar. I would love to see something, painted up like that required like a lot of paint to it for a Prime One piece. But I'm just thinking
like a Sentinel or something, maybe like
something that required I think that I'm looking at the 2099 Spider-Man, I think that's painted very well too. So that has like some gloss to it, and then it has like a muted color to it. Yeah. This new 52 Soups, same way. So it just depends on the piece, I think. But I would like to see more color from Prime One. More popping color would be like would be a cool thing.
What's going to be interesting is with XM saying that they're going to come with the Dark Knight's Metal as one of their first runs. Yeah, I mean, going toe to toe. I mean, Prime One said they're committed to that line as well. It's going to be interesting to see if that juices Prime One into bringing those pieces quicker, because so far it's only been the Drowned and Batman Who Laughs.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And XM's pretty good about rolling out the pieces in a line. So
yeah, they are.
The cool selection says if XM made 1/3 scale statues, I think Prime One would have a major competitor. And actually, XM they are doing some 1/3 pieces. They're doing the Marvel pieces. They've got Captain America, Magneto, and what's the one I'm forgetting?
Thor.
Cap, Thor, and Magneto.
But are those XM, or are those Legendary Beasts using XM's license?
Oh,
I think you're right. I think that
really. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I want to give a shout out to Gina B. Gina B Collecting's in the house. Hey, Gina.
Hey, what's up, Gina?
And I also wanted to comment and piggyback on what Max said about color. I think that's why I have a Batman collection. I don't have any color.
Yeah, you have the Joker. You have Joker and Harley and Poison Ivy.
I've got little specks of color in my collection. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've got Killer Croc over there, but I have so much gray and so much black in my collection, which is great. But at the same time, I think that's like you were talking about the Hulkbuster piece. Like I can't relate to that because I just don't have that color. I don't have that kind of pop color in my collection. So I'm anxious to see pieces like that. Like I said, I did see some XM pieces in Denver, like Sanity, and had great colors on it. And so I'm interested in getting some pieces like that do have that kind of color. But they'll probably like super stand out in this room.
That in my collection because it was similar. I mean, other than this is only a small corner of my room, my Avenger corner over here that I refuse to get rid of. Is Harley, Suicide Squad Harley. Gives a little pop of color.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prime One. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Little bits of color here and there.
Yeah. That's why I'm one of the only people on the planet that like the Sideshow Aquaman, because it's a real bright piece in my collection. And it's really, it captures your eye.
That is a great piece though, Jeff. That was really well done by Sideshow.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful piece. Yeah. Yeah. I had to expound from mine. You walk in my room. I'm actually not in my room. I'm at my desk. So you walk in my room, and the right side and straight on is all Batman. Behind you is Batman, and then to the left is Iron Man. So I have the Iron Man, and then I basically grew out of my room, and I'm spilled out into the basement, and I have all my Avengers behind me.
There you go.
Yeah. And so you got a lot of color. You have a lot of color in your collection.
Yes.
And
but if I wanted to, I could just keep all Batman in there. But moving the Iron Man section out into the basement area, I don't have a spot for it, and the spot that I have it in my room works. So when you do come in, it does kind of it actually flows. I have gray. See, I have gray on the sidewalls, blue on the back, and then I have this brick wallpaper in the front. And I have lights in the cabinets and stuff. So the color I do, it is a little on the dark side, but there is color when the lights are on, and it does pop. It pops. It pops a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did everybody? I don't remember if everybody had a chance to answer about which pieces that they hope that XM brings out. Jeff, did you ever say?
No. I'm really curious to see pretty much anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Dan has mentioned several times he wants to order the drowned piece. And I would be interested in that in quarter scale.
Yep.
So if XM does that, and it's kind of for the same reason, just aesthetically, it's a cool looking character.
Yep.
So I'd be very tempted to get that. I'm always curious what they could do with Superman. I really am. I mean, he's always been my favorite character. I love the most recent Sideshow PF, but I'd be really curious to see what XM would do. I wish, they talked about how they're going to make Doomsday 1/4 instead of 1/6. I kind of wish that they would do their 1/6 Batman as a 1/4, because that's a pretty nice little statue.
That's a real nice statue.
I agree. That would be a tough competition to not buy.
Yeah.
Something I was thinking about that maybe XM might do, or it may force Sideshow to do, is start to incorporate more mixed media in their statues. A lot of the statues lately that Sideshow's been doing have had the wires and the capes, for some of these characters that had it. I've got, for example, I've got Cable right in front of me, and, Cable has his cloak, and you can adjust it and manipulate it and stuff. And then you have a Green Arrow with his arrows, and also with the with his bow and all that stuff. So I've noticed a lot of their statues late in the past couple of years, they've been moving into the mixed media, and I wish that they would do more mixed media. So I don't know if XM might step that up, and then Sideshow will remain the same, or XM doesn't do it and Sideshow goes, oh well, okay, well let's incorporate more mixed media kind of thing. There's a lot of directions that both of them can go into, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they'll deliver.
I always see it anymore. Maybe it's 50-50 at this point. People either hate mixed media and want full sculpted, or they like the mixed media. Like, I don't mind if it's a cape, but I've seen a lot of damaged capes in the last week. People,
what is that?
I don't know. Like, I have all of my capes look the same as the day I got them.
Yep.
But people have been posting these awful pictures of these capes.
Yep.
And I'm like, it really makes you wonder, like, are these things really going to be deteriorating that bad over time?
Yeah.
And maybe they don't keep them in a well-controlled temperature or whatever, or it's in the sun, or they let their dog rip it to shreds. I don't know. But you guys have seen them, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen them. Are we talking like Sideshow or Prime One?
Prime One, usually it's like the pleather capes.
Okay.
Yeah. George Robb posted one for his XE Batman suit.
I don't know
what that storage.
He had it in the box. And he sent me the photos before he posted them. And at first I'm like, was it supposed to be that way? Is it supposed to look like icy kind of? And no, it was just a black cape with like icy on the bottom. But this whole thing looked like it was like just full of ice crystals. And which I thought looked kind of cool actually, but it just had deteriorated in the styrofoam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
bad. Yeah, bad. And then somebody else posted a couple days ago just their capes look awful, and it does make me worry about mixed media, because whenever I first started collecting, I really liked it. But now I prefer sculpted more. Like
me too.
You know, the capes can be tricky. Like this cape right here is massive. It is a big cape. The Hush cape. These capes can be damaged. But I tend to like the posable cape. Or I tend to like these capes a little bit better than the posable ones. But that's just me.
Yeah, I'm 50-50. You know, there's some there. Okay, I'll give you an example. So I just unboxed and I set up Batman Dark Knight 3, right?
Yep.
Awesome statue, man. That thing is,
Nice.
oh my god, that thing is
Congrats.
gorgeous. It jumped up to one of my favorites. I like the sculpted cape. I really do. But a part of me is like, it would have been nice to have been able to have had like just that leather, you know, kind of have a little bit of that weight to it. You know, kind of like how the Suicide Squad Batfleck statue is. That cape, like you touch, like there is levity to that. There's you know, there's realism to it, and I really like it on those. And you know, I just kind of, and I know they can't do it, but it would have been nice to have that option of, do you want a mixed media cape or do you want a sculpted? Or if they say, hey, you know, we're making it a 3,000. Out of that 3,000 is, you know, 800 or whatever. But I know that they can't do that because of, you know, the manufacturing process. But
look at Hush Superman though. They did both, and they've sold out of both.
that is true.
True.
No, that is very true. But you know, when it comes to things like, I don't want to go back to it. I don't want to sound like Mac talking about the Hulkbuster all the time. But it just so happens that Cable's in front of me. You know, the Cable statue is great. I love it. But like his knee pads, it would have been cool like if his knee pads had a bit of like leather flexibility to it or something. You know, it would have been cool if like, you know, his arm, even though it's metallic, had a bit of like almost like a bit of sponginess to it, almost like not spongy, but I think you guys kind of get what I'm getting at. So, you know, there are aspects of statues that I think could benefit with the mixed media, and then there are those that they did it right with a sculpted cape or sculpted aspects of it. They nailed it perfectly, and it is one of those, you know, really comes down to the preference.
Yeah, that's exactly right. To switch topics real quick, I just want to say there's 125 people watching right now. This is so awesome. I want to thank you guys very, very much. Hit that like button. That means the world to me. But thank you guys for watching. I can't believe there's so many people in here right now. It's so awesome. So thank you very much. And, you know, just exactly what you said. It is a preference. And that's what I love. I love when they give collectors that option. You know, and I'm a switch out guy. I love switch outs. Somebody was complaining the other day that they hate switch out. But it's like, I like that option to be able to choose. If I want a fabric cape, I'll put a fabric cape. If I want to put a fabric cape on this guy, which a lot of people will customize, you know, they might, somebody's going to make a fabric cape for this guy.
Yep.
I guarantee it. You see it all the time. But I like that because it gives people the option of how they want to display their items. And again, with this XM Studios, this is another option. This is going to be another option for collectors, and we're the ones that benefit. Now, we're not going to benefit probably in price because we're going to get hit with that. We know that. We're going to get hit with shipping, but we do still, this is going to give us a lot more options in the community. So I'm excited. It sounds like the rest of you guys are pretty excited to see what's going to come out of this announcement.
I'm excited, and then I'm not excited.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Mac.
My wallet's not very excited.
I think Sideshow is always going to have that advantage of cost.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Absolutely.
especially with shipping.
Can you hear the tears?
Yeah.
I can hear
Your wallet looks pretty wet there, Chris.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's going to be bad, I'm sure, but I'm anxious to see what happens. Let me ask you this: which piece do you think is going to be their very first piece out of the gate? I think it'll be just a plain Batman. That's just me.
Wow, I hope not.
Yeah,
I really do. I hope it's not. I hope it's not a Batman. I love Batman. I'm like you, Chris. I'm like you guys. Batman is hands down my favorite character. However, I don't want, like, if XM's going down, if XM's going down this road, I really think that it should be something like Wonder Woman or Superman for Jeff that like literally blows the doors off and like kind of almost sets the standard for like, hey, moving forward, this or higher is how it's going to be. And then they could bring in Batman like maybe the third or fourth one. You know, maybe they could do the Holy Trinity. You know, the first Holy Trinity.
That's a good point.
You know, the first three could be Superman, Wonder Woman, and then Batman.
The only reason I say Batman is because they've teased two Batmans.
Yes.
Yes.
And they haven't teased anybody else.
No, they haven't.
But they did specifically say Doomsday and Dark Knight Metal. And that makes me wonder if it's going to be one of those.
I mean, and they obviously already have Darkseid planned out. I mean, they already had him planned out for that scale. So
I wonder if they're doing a Rogues Gallery first. Maybe they're just doing all Rogues, and then they'll bring in the heroes.
Well, I certainly love that.
Well, look what they did with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Rogues.
Yep.
They did. You're right.
That could be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And people love the bad guys. You know, it's like they're usually colorful. They're more interesting. That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Sure is.
It's going to be fun. Well, let's move on to our second topic. I think we've exhausted this one pretty well. The second one is, and I'm going to kind of rely a little bit more on Jeff here because I know that he is definitely our comic guru of this group. And so DC has for, 30 years?
Long time. At
least been distributed through Diamond. And which means that they're the ones that send the comic books to all the different retailers, all the different comic book shops and whatnot. But DC, during the pandemic, they kind of changed. They said they're going to have maybe some different options of who they would use to distribute their books. But now they've announced this week that they are going to be parting ways completely. So what does that mean for comic collectors?
It means, I think the biggest thing it's going to mean for European collectors is that your comics are going to cost a lot more because Diamond had a warehouse in Europe, in England, Diamond UK. And so people in England or people throughout Europe pretty much got their comics for cover price like we do. That's not going to happen anymore. They're going to be shipped. And it sounds like they're going to be paying a lot more than cover for their comics. So that's the biggest switch. The other problem, and I think it's an enormous conflict of interest, is that you now have a comic shop distributing to comic shops. And so if you have, say, an issue of Batman that comes out and it blows up because of whatever, first appearance of something, the way it is with Diamond, you can reorder from them and get more stock if they have it, of course. But if your distributor is Midtown Comics and the book is now a $20 book, why would Midtown send those to you instead of selling them in their own store? So that's a huge problem that retailers are talking about now is how can they trust Midtown Comics to be a fair distributor when they're in the same business?
Yep.
Which makes sense to me. The other problem that comic shops are having is that, and I'm going to look at my notes here because I talked to a comic shop owner today and said, what's going to be the biggest hurdles for you? And he said that you have to manually order all your orders. There's no integrated system or pull list assistance at all. Higher shipping costs. And he doesn't know for sure, but he's expecting lower discounts. So that along with the conflict of interest issue, he doesn't think there's going to be any comic retailer that's happy about this situation. This happened once before. I mean, Marvel pulled out of Diamond a few decades ago for a short period of time, and it was an utter disaster, and they came back. So that could happen, but you also have the possibility that I've read some articles that are guessing that maybe DC is trying to get away from the monthlies, that they're seeing graphic novels doing very well in traditional bookstores, that they have those Walmart 100-page specials that apparently are doing pretty well, and that the entire process of producing monthlies is very rushed. It's get it done, get it done, get it done. Whereas with graphic novels, it's more like a novel. You know, they can take their time. There's no rush. You know, they have a timeline, of course, but it's not like everything's got to be done right now for a monthly title because they got to meet a deadline. So there's some thought that maybe they're trying to get away from the monthlies and go more towards a graphic novel route and keep, you know, of course, comic shops in the loop selling graphic novels and all that other stuff. But they might be, and I don't know for sure, but they might be trying to get away from the monthlies.
So let me ask you this. You were talking about, you used the example of Midtown Comics. Okay. So let's And you said that before you could, if you ran out, you could just get more from Diamond.
Yeah.
So is that going to make? Is it going to be more exciting for collectors because these pieces are going to seem more rare? Like, because I couldn't get the copy. Is that going to happen, do you think? I mean, on the collector's end, I mean, yes, it hurts the retailer, but on the collector end, does it make it more collectible?
Well, it's going to make it more expensive more quickly. That's for sure.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming that, that Midtown is not going to ship all those books out on reorders, and they're going to keep some for themselves. And of course, jack up the price on their website. I can't say that for sure. I've had some dealings with Midtown and they've been fine, but it wasn't distributing comics. It was just buying a statue or something. So yeah, I mean, you're not going to have, you've got the relationship with your local comic shop. You want to get your comics from them. You don't want to have to jump online and pay a premium from another shop that's now acting as a distributor plus shipping,
Yeah.
It's
so
terrible.
Is Midtown the only one that's going to be distributing DC, or does DC have multiple places there?
I think there's one other, and I'm not familiar with it, so that's why I use Midtown as an example. But we'll see how it works out.
Why do you think they chose Midtown?
I asked this friend that owns a shop in North Carolina today, and he said, I just asked him, why did they part ways with Diamond? And his response was, that has not yet been revealed. And knowing this guy, that told me that he knows why, but it's not public information yet. So Midtown has a good distribution system. I think that's probably why that they chose them. Whether it's going to work out well, I don't know. We'll see.
So what do you guys think this means for Diamond?
That's a good question.
Because they still do Marvel, right?
They've already been hit hard by the coronavirus. What would we have? 2.5 months with no comic shipping. That's fine. They're finally shipping again, but now you're losing your number 2 publisher. It's got to hit them pretty hard. They might wait and see. Maybe they'll be able to get DC back, but I don't know enough about it to say whether it's going to be the end of Diamond or something like that.
I think when Jim Lee announced, I believe I don't remember where he said it, in the tweet or Instagram. He said it on one of his social media platforms when he announced that DC was going to Midtown. He said due to changes in the direction DC wants to go in and stuff, but during this COVID-19 situation, especially early on, I was reading a lot of articles about from other comic book shops and from other comic book industry people that were saying, like, Diamond, the way that Diamond operates on some levels, it's very much like a mob. They're kind of aggressive, they're a bit bullyish in some of their tactics. Who knows if that was a campaign to kind of put them down, but I just think that there's definitely, like you said, Jeff, there's something that hasn't been released to the public, that something happened between Diamond and DC for sure. And something big enough for DC to say, you know what, we're going to go somewhere else. And I think Midtown, I think with guys like Jim Lee and Jeff Johns, I think DC in itself has a relationship with Midtown anyways. And they were just like, right place, right time kind of thing, or they were just fed up with Diamond. But Diamond has not gotten a lot of good press during this COVID-19 situation.
People are bringing up AT&T. Do you think that has anything to do with it? AT&T is the parent company of Warner Brothers, and then
From
Warner.
my understanding, DC and Warner Brothers, while they're 2 separate entities, and I'd have to check to see who owns DC Comics. Maybe Jeff, that immediately off the top of your head. But I know AT&T owns Warner Brothers, and I believe Warner Brothers owns DC, and I don't believe AT&T is involved on that aspect.
Okay.
Well, AT&T is the parent company, and they paid a tremendous amount of money to buy out Warner Brothers, and they're probably pinching pennies. They're probably looking at a spreadsheet saying these monthlies, they're not big money makers. I don't even like to think about the idea of them phasing out monthlies, but and you've got a massive corporation like that looking at their bottom line and saying, well, shoot, why aren't we just publishing these as graphic novels? That might be their strategy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are saying that Diamond was a monopoly.
Yes.
They were able to. They said that they were able to shut down the industry during the coronavirus, the pandemic, and they're not wrong. I mean, they did. They shut everything down.
Yep.
Well, but you have to remember, shops weren't open.
That's true.
Who are you going to ship to?
That's true.
Right.
That's true. They also said that DC is 30% of their total distribution.
That sounds logical.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It'll be interesting to see, what happens with all of that. I'm not a monthly reader. I'm somebody that does just buy the graphic novels and the hardcovers. So it doesn't really affect me, but I know it affects a lot of people. Somebody asked earlier, they said, what happens if Midtown Comics gets an exclusive version and only they sell it, and then they give everybody else the regular version? And that's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. That's like having the fox guard the hen house.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you really, it's like, it's kind of like the Bugs Bunny cartoon where Bugs Bunny, they're all sitting at the table and Bugs Bunny is doling out the money and he's pretending to be all the other mob guys and he's taking the money from the pool. So that's, I think, yeah.
Well, Bugs Bunny is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So that works out pretty crazy. But it'll be interesting to see. That's for sure. Do you guys want to look at pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
Yep.
All right. Let me get rid of that.
You have a Hulk Buster?
I got it. I got one for you.
Oh, let me see here. Not a ton of new Al right now, but I've got a lot of in-hand type pictures this week.
Good.
This was the announcement we talked about earlier. The 1/4 scale premium collectibles statues under DC Comics. Southeast Asia and Taiwan is where they say. So interesting. Start out this week with just a really cool art print. I thought this was a pretty neat one. This is going to be offered by Sideshow. But I like the colors on this one. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like the art prints have been getting better. They're actually using prints from artists in the industry. I like that.
So is he trying to catch a bat there? Is that what's going on?
Well, let me see. See if we zoom in here on. I really don't know. Oh, maybe this right here.
No, go back up to where his fingers are. See, he's got his fingers out like he's going to grab something, and then the cape by his neck looks weird. Like I almost wondered if that was like a bat swooping down. I mean,
I feel like this is kind of like a dream. A dream type thing. Like these little wispy things. Like this looks like a bat, but it's all these like wisps of smoke.
Yeah.
But his left shoulder.
It's interesting though.
What's going on with his left shoulder? I mean, it looks like he's got long hair or something. Or is that supposed to be a bat flying by or something?
I think it's a collar, and he's turning into it, and then he's coming out of smoke. Like it kind of looks like a collar, a little bit.
Like he's coming out of this dream-like smoke.
Yeah.
That's
not everything's clear yet.
Yeah, this is a very popular cover for that issue. I remember when it was hard to get, and it was selling out all over the place.
Wow.
Like see how his like gauntlet is all starting to kind of wisp away. Like it's just like he's like a
phantasm almost.
Yeah,
like
kind of
coming out of smoke.
Yeah. Interesting. Threw these in. These were thrown up today of the Nightwing from XM Studio. Wanted to get Dan's take especially on this piece because I know he is collecting this line for, a lot. Jeff is also. But we got to see some new pictures of Robin, which I thought looked incredible. But what do you think of these guys?
Yeah, I think they look great. I mean, the Nightwing piece, the level of detail is just off the charts. Almost to a fault. I mean, it's really crazy. I love it. I wish I had more attachment to the character. I'm just being honest. When I look at shelf space or just space in my display room, I just can't do it. you know, I've already got Harley on PO, and because she's amazing after seeing her in New York, and I'm going to order Joker as soon as they put him up.
Yeah.
But
So,
you know, go ahead, man.
So Dan, I was just gonna say, just you can look at the paint on that. I mean, what other piece can you say looks like that? I mean, I remember seeing like Dan did when we saw Harley in New York.
Yep.
I originally was kind of off of that piece, and then when I saw it in person, it was something that I was just like, wow. I mean, this thing it's the paint on it is just incredible, and the same goes with that Robin. So
yeah, Robin was the same way. And I mean, I honestly haven't considered adding a Robin. I haven't seen one that was compelling until I saw that in New York. And honestly, seeing it in person the pictures don't do them justice. And I know that's true of statues, but the paint, and you know, it's the accuracy of the paint too. Like it's so crazy good.
You never see overspray from next time.
No, never.
I really like this Robin. I think it's the best Robin on the market.
I agree with that. Yep.
And it looks like Robin. I mean, it's a lot of the samurai pieces. If you look at that, no one's going to know that's necessarily Nightwing. You know, but there's no mistaking that this is Robin.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Keep in mind, they all come with multiple portraits. There's at least one portrait on the Nightwing that looks a lot more like Nightwing.
Yes, it does. And I think the Nightwing piece is a great piece, but I'm like you. I just don't have an emotional connection to the character.
Right.
But it looks amazing.
It's cool. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There's the regular head.
Yeah.
Got it kind of in a ponytail.
Yeah. Man.
Also, I wanted to mention that, and I hadn't realized this until I think Jeff said something, that the Nightwing mirrors the Deathstroke perfectly.
Yeah. If you're using the Deathstroke arm with the rifle.
Yeah.
Where he's got it extended, it's identical. It's a mirror version. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, that was awesome. I hadn't noticed that.
You know what's interesting too is the base on the on Nightwing, very similar to the base on Batgirl, on their Samurai Batgirl.
Right.
The statue is in the same position. It's a slightly different. I'm looking at her now, and slightly different, but very, very similar.
I think this is one of the best bases.
Is Batgirl? How do you rate that in the Samurai line?
Oh, she's awesome.
Is she?
Yeah, I mean, and one of the reasons is her pose. You know, she's only connected to her base with the 1 foot. It's actually not terribly dissimilar than the pose that the new Batman is in, Chris.
Really?
Yeah, she's jumping off of the structure that she's on, and it looks extremely similar. I'm looking at them. I've got one on one corner here and the other on another, and they are very similar. I'm going to post those pictures tomorrow in the group. Let everybody.
Please.
Just
you mean it's similar to the Batman Beyond?
No, it's similar to the Batman New 52 that we opened last night.
Oh, got it. Yep.
That jumping off the wall look.
Yep.
Yeah, post those tomorrow. Again, if you haven't joined us in Facebook, it's Batman Statue Collector, Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. Join us there for sure, because we would love to have you. So amazing community. Secret Sanctuary's got a group as well. DCX.
Yeah.
You mean DMX or DCX?
DCX, yeah, Darth Castle.
Yep.
DMX.
That's a whole other thing.
No, I think Thor's cool enough to be DMX.
Yeah.
Dark Lord himself.
So looking at these pictures, one of the things that excites me about XM doing quarter scale DCs is, are they all going to have 4 and 5 portraits?
Yeah, right.
That would be pretty awesome.
It would.
Wow,
Yeah.
I can't see them doing as many, because they still have to with the Samurai line. I mean, they had to do that to give different looks,
Right.
But I'm hoping. I mean, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
They're used to doing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm excited for collectors that are picking this lineup. I'm just so happy for you guys that are.
Real quick, I just wanted to kind of throw it out there. You know how they're doing this, and I don't know how you guys are with history, fans of particular, history time periods or whatnot. But see. First of all, if the samurai were available, samurai line was available here, I think I'd be greatly interested in it. But I would kind of like to see like, almost like, you know, a time period of those characters in, you know, maybe the Midwest, or you know, like World War II, or something along those lines. Seeing them, like, you know how like the Elseworld stories of Batman and all that. Like, I think what is it? Batman by Gaslight is the only one that
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, is the only one that comes to mind.
Yep.
Of having, you know, Batman placed in a different time era, and I would have loved to have seen kind of, you know, it doesn't have to be a quarter scale, but I would love to see something along those lines that was, you know, maybe a Sideshow could do it, Prime One could do it, who knows? But you know, you have something like that over in that part of the world done by XM, and it would be kind of neat to see something done here, you know, connected to American history like that. But I'm only talking out loud. It's not something like, oh, I want it. It's just more of like, that'd be kind of neat to maybe see a picture of.
Time frame pieces are cool. Like the one that I think of is like the Bombshell line.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great line. Very popular. And it's, you know, that what, 1920s, 1930s. And it's fun. You know, it's something different. It's taking really popular characters and putting them in another time. You know, I don't know if a cowboy Batman would sell very well. But it is unique for sure. And I think there would definitely be a market there if it's done right, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Mega City Fun, he says medieval Batman. I mean, if they're doing, you know, the Dark Knight Metal, there was a character in there that had that armor. So yeah, it's just one of those like, you know, you're talking out loud kind of things.
Sure, absolutely. This piece was teased by Ang at XM Studios, and this is obviously the backside of Batman. But what do you think this is? Do you think what scale?
I say 1/5.
Yeah, I think so too.
I want to definitely say a smaller scale, so definitely 1/5. And I think it's going to be similar to that Batman animated series one by Sideshow, where he's kind of, you know, going forward, like lunging forward almost.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'd be similar to that.
But you guys don't think this is they also teased the one with the bat signal, and it looked more samurai to me. You don't think this is the same piece, do you?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Can you zoom in on his feet?
Yeah.
On his feet? See, this looks like the top. This looks like kind of like the top of a building, but it doesn't look like it would have any sort of bat signal on it to me.
I don't think it's a samurai, because you've got the blue and gray, because his boots are blue, and then he's got the gray outfit, and then the cape. So I don't think it will be samurai. I think it'll be regular Batman design.
The piece that was teased, Chris, with the bat signal.
Yes.
The boot was clearly an armored kind of boot.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. Do you think that'll be a second Samurai Batman? I do.
I don't know, man.
I don't. This one, no. I say no.
Not this one, but the other one they teased.
That would be an interesting move. I mean, it'd be interesting in the course of them releasing. I mean, there'll be about 8 or so pieces by then.
Yep.
A second Batman, maybe an a more armored version.
Sideshow's done it before.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe this is 2 options. Maybe you have the unarmored and then just the regular.
I don't know.
Man.
I think you're more. I think this is a smaller scale piece. I think you guys are right about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it'll be interesting to see the reveal. I threw these pictures in because I thought it was interesting. These are supposedly the mock-ups of the Batmobile from the new Batman movie. Kind of like a souped-up Charger or Mustang or something like that. Here.
Yeah, Charger.
Pretty cool, though, I think.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I like it.
Definitely.
It's right up.
But it's definitely
right up
more
realistic.
It is. That's right, Mac.
What'd you say, Mac? I missed it.
I said it's right up Dan's alley.
My alley.
Oh yeah. This feels like the old
Dan rolling that.
Oh yeah.
But I just had to share them in case people hadn't seen them because I'm like, oh,
look how wide the tires are.
Yeah, it's badass, man. That's awesome.
It's neat. I like the lights inside.
That is cool.
That's pretty awesome. This was shown this week. This is the 1/10 scale from Iron Studios. This line has been real popular. Good price point, but anyway, I just wanted to share a couple pictures with you guys.
It's pricier though than the others, right? Isn't it like 190?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more.
How many more pieces are they going to add to it?
Oh my god!
I wonder.
I feel like they're just going to keep going forever.
I mean,
Hey,
That's
Chris,
gonna have a huge roster, so I mean, it's unlimited.
Yeah.
Chris, I just want to know, we've got an awesome group joining us. I'm looking at 135 people right now in the chat.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome! Thank you guys for being here. That's
Yeah, most of them are my followers, so you're welcome, guys.
Hey, I like
There you go.
I noticed you're getting these numbers once I joined the show, so
Yeah, no kidding.
my pleasure.
Your extended family is all on here tonight. I love it. Hello, Rick's family.
Oh, welcome, Rick's family.
Thanks everybody for being here tonight. So now,
Actually, I created 85 different profiles, so all that is me while I'm talking, I'm typing away.
hey, have them all subscribe to our channels. That'd be great.
hell yeah.
Fluffing the numbers, just fluffing the numbers.
Secret Sanctuary, Mac Collections, White Castle. There we go. I love it.
After the show, go.
Yeah,
Sum 'em
after
up.
the show. Wait till after the show. After the show. So I threw these pictures in. These are old pictures, but I threw a question in the group, and maybe you guys can help me a little bit. So I just got the new Poison Ivy. I have the new Batman. I'm going to be getting Mr. Freeze and also Scarecrow. And so my old Harley Quinn is still great, but she is starting to show her age. And so I put these two photos up here. I'm considering getting a different Harley. And I wanted to hear the panel's take on which one do you think that might work, or do you think I should just keep the old one? What do you guys think?
Hell on Wheels.
This one right here.
Yep.
Seconded.
Okay. Oh, seconded. Okay. All right. All right.
She'll compete with your Ivy.
That's right.
They'll look good together.
She would look good together with her. But again, we were talking before the show, like I really like that classic Jester look. And this is this is how I would display it with this head. This one, I don't like the Jester head on. I just don't feel like it works, in my opinion. What do you think, Mac? What do you think would be the better choice?
That's a tough one. I'm kind of partial to the costume on the first one, but then again, I kind of like the second one. So it's just get both.
The one
just get both. That's how I would do it. I would just get both. Screw it.
Well, I've been doing all these comparison videos. Maybe I should.
Yeah, you should just do it both. Just do them both.
I'm not wild about the base.
Can't go wrong.
I'm not wild about the base on this one.
Yeah, me too.
This one right here?
No, the other one.
The other one. Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so simple.
Yeah.
It's kind of going back to the old days of Sideshow. Like that,
exactly.
Old, just simple bases, which I like it because it doesn't have a very big footprint.
Everybody type both in the in the chat if Chris should get both. Let's see how many.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm gonna type both right now.
All right, I'm sending a text to my family, letting them know in the group chat to say both.
Hold on, I'm getting a phone call from my wallet. It's crying again.
Chris, just think how well that comparison video did. Come on.
Oh, I know. I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to do a comparison video on the new Batman and the new Batman as well, the other Batman that I have. So I can't wait to compare those two.
So, Chris, you also mentioned before the show on this one that her head is kind of tilted up a little bit. Maybe she won't be as visible in your display. Yeah,
I have my Harley up a little higher, right next to Batman, which I think this would be cool. Like her, like she's gonna like bonk Batman on the head, in the case, and I think it would look good. But man, I'm one of the. I think you guys are right. I think I need to get both because I have to see it in person. Like I spend hours looking at these pictures trying to decide, but then I once I get it in hand, it makes a big difference.
Chris, you even got a super chat both from Michael Cecilia.
Say it again.
You got a super chat both.
Oh,
That made you
very
guys-
much. Thank you for the super
Nice.
chat. Well, if I got a super chat for both, I guess I got to get both.
You gotta do
There
both.
you go. You get,
But what,
you get
but what
$1
about the
$1
inevitable
for each.
XM Harley?
Say that again, Jeff.
What about the inevitable XM Harley quarter scale?
Damn you! You made me cuss on the show.
That's
That
right.
was my
There is
goal.
no escape.
I know.
Door speaks. There is no escape.
You know what? And this is just me. I like the base on the other one, on the roller skates.
Are you like the base?
I like the base on that one, but hear me out. I wish that base was the one that was getting smashed on the other one. So it looked like she was actually like on a roller derby rink, or like on in a carnival or kind of thing. And then the planks that she was on was part of that base kind of coming up. The lights are worn out, maybe some are blown out because she's smashing it.
Mhm.
This one is more to me. This is just me. This one is more to comic book angle, and I kind of like this. I'm kind of with you, Chris, with the Jester style.
Yep.
And this one to me is just more towards the movie version because of just how Margot Robbie portrayed her. If you want to do the movie angle, yeah, I would get this one, but I prefer the Jester one, but I just wish the base was the other one.
So do you guys all agree that these two are better than the OG?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah, I would
absolutely.
Okay, well that says a lot. That says
And
a
I
lot.
don't care about the bases. I'm looking at Harley.
Yeah.
Same here.
I'm also thinking of space. If I have limited space in this cabinet, I'm gonna have to rebuild the cabinet anyway at some point. But
Just bust the wall down. Just bust the wall down.
I know. I'm gonna have to make this
Another
whole
wall.
case for this
You
thing.
have a ton of space in that little corner that you built those risers, Chris, because you can just frame it out, which you've already done, and then you can put stuff underneath.
Yeah. Well, I can also where the corners are with the Joker and Batman bust, I can just slide those over into the corner and raise them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would have another. I would be able to build a bigger case for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
So
It's gonna happen.
So Fate's saying no way on this OG Harley. Anybody got a picture of that real quick?
OG Harley?
Yeah.
I could show you.
Yeah, let me see that real quick.
It's right over your shoulder, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I could do that. Let me see if I can. I can't see what I'm filming because I can't. It doesn't show on the screen. But see, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
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 Hold on. Let me see if I can get a little closer. Okay, that's OG Harley
Okay.
right there. She's fabric and sculpt. She had no swap outs. Little tiny base.
So a space saver. I like it.
Space saver.
Yeah.
It's funny. OG Harley is so close to the Harley from Sean Gordon Murphy's Batman, Curse of the White Knight, and like his, like that one is like right out of it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good read.
Mm-hmm.
Just knocked off Batman's hand. That's good. Gee, man.
Live breakages.
Yeah, we don't need that. We do not need that. Okay, well, we've exhausted the Harley conversation, but thank you guys for helping me out. It sounds like I'm going to have to get both, darn you.
Yep.
But I appreciate the conversation.
That way you can compare them all. You have all three.
I
of them.
know. I
That's
need to
perfect.
I need to do it.
Best way to do
Chris, it seems that the more statues you buy, the higher the chat count goes up to 144 now. So keep buying.
Nice.
God, I don't know if we've ever had this many on the show. That's awesome.
Oh, my cousins just joined.
The distant cousins from overseas, right?
Yep.
That and Chris Bird probably has his whole family watching.
Hey, there you go, Chris.
The government's probably back there somewhere.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is some other in-hand photos. This is the black version of Superman, the black suit version. And Hush sold out so quickly. What do you guys think of this version? I think it's really, I don't love this face, but I really like the bearded version.
Yeah.
Between the two, bearded version.
I think these are not the greatest pictures in the world.
They're not the greatest pictures.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about this one compared? I mean, if you can't get the red version, is this a good alternative or no?
I don't think it really compares, but I think having it, because if you missed out on it and you just wanted to have like that statue, like the essence of it, then I think it's a good buy. But it doesn't really, it doesn't to me, it doesn't compare to the blue and red suit with the cape.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you, Mac. I'm right there with you.
I am too. I think it's a great piece, but I mean, gosh, the red it's just iconic. You know, and it's one of the best statues I think ever produced, in my opinion. I just think it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. Speaking of Superman, we also had some in-hand photos of the Injustice Superman. What do you
I don't
think
like that first configuration. It looks like he's saying it was this big.
It does,
I always feel like he's going like WTF, you know, like it's funny. I like the base on this one, but I don't know. This one just kind of ho-hum to me.
Yeah, I'm right there. It is a bit ho-hummy.
I contemplated.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I contemplated getting this one, but at the end I was just like, I don't like it that much, and I really don't need it. So, but I was kind of like forcing myself to like it because it was so different. But
now the Brainiac I like.
Yeah, the Brainiac's dope.
I love that piece.
Totally. This piece, all the pictures I've seen, because I've seen more pictures than just these, it just looks like a custom piece to me. It really does, and it just doesn't. It doesn't grab me. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me like, you know, I like Superman, but it doesn't make me like the character. You know, the Superman Hush. Holy moly! You want to talk about badass? That's straight up. Yeah. This one, no,
not as much.
Yep.
I got that too, Rick.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Yeah, Bo. You see it behind me?
Yeah, I do. I see it. That's a beautiful piece. You should make it a centerpiece somewhere.
It is. It's basically the centerpiece to the DC land I have right here.
The DC land.
You should put it right above Hulkbuster.
You know what? I could.
That's a lot of red in one spot.
It is a lot of red in one spot.
So then you measured from every corner of your room, and it's dead center right in your room. So it's the centerpiece.
It's not dead center, but it's basically, if you walk down here, it's definitely it just presence alone. I think your eyes would. I think I'm gonna have to record somebody coming down here that hasn't been here before. That's gonna be a good video. But I think
Mac, you know what we need? We need a room tour.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
I know.
I think that when you come down here, I think that if you look. I don't know, because most time when people come down here, they do a pan, and I think that would probably be the one that would eye catch you the most.
He's also really tall.
Yeah, because he's tall, and I mean his cape is huge, and it's just a really big statue. So, and it just looks like he's literally floating in the middle of the air.
Oh wow,
so cool.
Oh wow.
All right, so this one I can't wait to show you guys because this is the Joker teaser. Again, this is part of that samurai line. And we see the Joker with his hair back here, this long green hair back here. But I think this head is amazing. What do you guys think of the teaser here?
They're doing a very good job with these teaser pics. They're like just getting people like amped up and ready for us. The right way to do it. Absolutely.
Yep.
And this is what Prime 1 used to do. But we just don't do it anymore.
Prime 1, do it again. Come on.
I know. I love those digital render teasers.
Yeah. Send the pictures to me and Chris. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely. We will promote the crap out of it. I guarantee it.
Dan, what do you think?
I love it. I absolutely the handful of teasers that we've seen so far seem right on point. I like the knife. There's the one where he's licking the blade. The whole thing. I think it's awesome.
What do you guys think the red thing is in the background?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That is Red Hood.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from a separate statue, but maybe there's a Red Hood helmet on the base.
Maybe.
Yeah. It also looks like Magneto's helmet, even though we know that it's not, but it kind of does.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Look, but doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it's probably a red Hood version for sure. Swap out, yeah.
Jeff, are you planning on picking this one up?
I want to see more before I decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm considering, if I like this one, I'm considering getting him and a Batman.
Haha.
Okay.
And limiting it to those two, especially if they make a new Batman.
Ha ha ha. Limited to those two.
Joker pun, or are you laughing at me?
Limited to those two.
Yeah.
That's what I'm laughing at.
Yeah, and then the very next day we see Chris saying, "I'm selling my Arkham line because I'm really hooked on the Samurai line now."
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, this Arkham line, I can never imagine partying with this line. I cannot. I just
6
love
months
it.
later.
Yeah.
So Chris, you've never unboxed an XM statue before, right?
No, I have never
Okay.
owned an XM statue. I've only seen a handful in person at that Denver Comic Con.
Okay, that's going to be a cool experience for you.
It's a cool experience.
Because it's so different.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
And
Prime One and I love Side Zero, but there's just something about opening up an XM box that it's just so different. So, but
I'm hoping that my first one is Sanity.
okay.
And I'm having trouble committing to that price.
Well, just commit to it. You know what? Just commit to it. I'll tell you this. I didn't want to commit on Hulkbuster, so you know what I did? I basically like I had it up, and then I acted like I was gonna not do it, and then I hit the button to act like I did it on accident. And then I was like, oh,
Lady Mac.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, oh, I went ahead and pre-ordered this. I didn't really mean to, so I can't really call Todd and be like, hey man, I made a mistake, so I want to go ahead and cancel that pre-order that I just did. So you just need to just go ahead and hit the button. I mean, if anybody's gonna have sanity, it should be you. So
I know
you need to do that. I mean, you are the Batman statue collector, so if you
right.
don't. That would be a signature piece for you and your channel. So
yeah,
I think
I do agree.
Here's what you do, Chris. And I'll piggyback on what Mac just said. What you do is you find out the dimensions, you measure it, then you measure a place in your cave, and if it fits, you must commit.
Yeah,
well, I have two places that they could go. It could go up on top where the Batman hush is, or it might fit inside that gun cabinet.
Oh, your gun cabinet. I meant to send you a message. You should put some lighting in there, put some frames, and you could put some CGCs in there. Take the doors off and put some CGC stuff in there.
I had a lot of people suggest make it kind of like a gun or a bat arsenal with like batarangs and like do like life-size props in there. That'd be kind of neat.
Yep. If you have all those, if you have all those, Or if you have something, if you have a statue that would fit perfectly in there, then you could kind of single that one out in there. Or that could be a rotating display area.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some possibilities there. I am sure at some point I will have sanity. I just have to commit.
Just tell your wife that I made you do it.
I know.
That's all right.
I'll take Harley's and sanity.
Yeah.
How much money is that? That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You just say, "Hey, look, baby, I had a moment of weakness, but I didn't cheat on you."
That's right. At this point, she'd probably rather me do that than buy all these things. I'll tell you. Okay, so this Joker I hadn't seen until today. This is from Iron Studios, so they're doing kind of these smaller scale fun pieces. They're pretty cheap. I think they were like $30. But obviously they're going to do a new line. Have you guys seen these before?
No,
I haven't seen them. No, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I think they're kind of fun pieces.
Yeah.
Is it like 1/12 or something?
It's
Funko pop size.
4.7 inches, so small.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can obviously fit a whole bunch on the shelf of $30. I don't know.
That's the kind of thing I put on my desk at work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just fun pieces.
Kind of like a little accessory piece.
I hadn't seen those before, so I wanted to throw them up here. Here we got some new photos of the Batman Ninja. I still really like this piece, and I really like this Joker. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and most people hate the movie. I hated the second half, but I love the animation. And I had threw these in because I've never seen them side by side. I can't remember any convention that they were right next to each other. And And I think, Dan, I think you mentioned it, that you felt like it was maybe a little undersized.
It looks it in the picture to me.
These are 1/4 scale.
Yeah.
I threw up a picture on the Prime One group this week of a render that Prime One released of a second version of Batman, and it looks like it would match this Joker a lot better. So I would love to see that made, because he's down low on the base. But if I had the room, I would definitely pick up this Joker. But I think he's like $1,300.
Wow.
For a 1/4 scale piece. That just seems like a lot of money for me.
It is a lot of money, but then you pay $1,300 for a Prime One, so it's a lot of money, but it's kind of the same money.
Yeah, I know. It's worth it. The quality.
It's worth it, man. Trust me.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw those pieces in. Speaking of Prime One, for Lord of the Ring fans, they kind of blew these out of the water. I don't remember what these characters' names are, but I'm really impressed with these pieces. Have you guys seen these?
Yeah, they look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to kind of scroll through these quickly and just kind of let the pictures do the talking here. But look at just great detail. Obviously, Prime One expanding some of their licenses here.
So I got to ask you guys. So when you think about Prime One, just real quick, when I think about like a bloody statue, it always goes to Prime One.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I see it. Yeah.
They're definitely
100%.
willing to take that risk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the blade here.
Yep. and they do a great job of fantasy. They really, really just like nail it right on the head.
And that's what this exhibition is right now, is a fantasy line. But this was kind of their highlight. But I just thought they were really incredible.
I noticed that, like, for me, when I look at some of these pictures and, in comparison to like the DC line that they've done and Heroes and stuff, their fantasy line is far more realistic. And I don't know if it's a different group of sculptors or painters or what, but their fantasy line is far more realistic and brutal than the Heroes lines or the character lines that they kind of do. And I just wish that some of that would translate over into that,
Or maybe we'll see more.
I hope so.
I mean, that's the thing with Prime One, is I hear that they do have a lot of artists, and they've kind of gone through a lot of artists, and so you're always going to get maybe a different take or a different talent level. But it's the fans that win here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if I threw this one in last show, but this was a teaser also of XM of their Penguin Samurai.
You did.
I did. Okay, I couldn't remember. I'll move on then.
No, it's okay. We can still talk about it. I mean, do you think that they're going to do a Rogues Gallery? I mean, sure, we have the Joker, and if they're going to do a Penguin, then the potential of doing Riddler and maybe Scarecrow and some others is there.
It's very possible. I'm hoping. I'm sure Dan is. He's going to have to get a whole another house.
I am going to need another house.
Or you're going to have to go out into the barn.
Yeah, that's all.
And so let me ask you this, and I'm just saying this to blow your mind. What if this isn't for the Penguin? What if this is for the Court of Owls, and it was a samurai of the Court of Owls?
Huh.
I mean, it's possible that this is very much, a penguin and it's all that. But me personally, I would love to not that I would get it, but I think it would just be so badass and cool to see a samurai Talon.
That could be really. I had never even thought of it, but that could be really fun.
Yep.
Yeah. I am waiting desperately for the Prime One version. I love the teaser. I really want a Court of Owls piece, and I'm really excited if they ever show it for real. But the possibility of a samurai could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This was some in-hand photos of Starfire. Jeff, are you getting this one?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I'm out of room for tweeterhead pieces right now, and I really like it. I think it came out really nice, but I haven't decided if I'm picking it up yet or not.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to throw these pictures up because these are some in-hand photos from collectors. I know some collectors are very excited to be getting her in, but I agree. I think she turned out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
She has that Bowen statue quality. like really nice, clean, well done, well put together. It looks really good.
Is this a Paul Harding piece?
I don't know.
It looks like a Paul Harding piece.
Could be. It's tempting to get because Robin's about to come out, and they've already got, Wonder Girl's already out, so they're building a pretty good Titans line.
Yeah.
So it's very tempting.
Yes, they are. But I think she turned out pretty good. The only thing I feel like her hair might be a little wonky right here, but
I see.
But it looks like textured, kind of. Might just be the photo, but
right.
Congratulations to everybody getting her. Here's a picture of her with some other collectibles. I threw these up too because I thought these were kind of neat from Prime 1. I saw those at the show, but now collectors are getting them in hand. Again, just kind of these fun desktop type characters, but here you can see the whole variety. I think I'd love to get the Joker, but kind of nice size. I thought these were kind of fun.
What's with the zipper?
They're supposed to be like those creepy dolls, cutie dolls.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like a plush. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're sculpted.
So they have a store dedicated to this. Right?
Yes, I heard that. That a whole separate store that's going to be in that same mall.
Yeah, they have a store dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
wow. Must be popular.
Wow. Yeah, it must be. Holy
that's
cow.
neat.
Whole store.
Another art print. It's up at Sideshow right now. I just wanted to show everybody that. If they missed it, I thought this was a cool one. In-hand photos of Thor from Iron Studio. What do you guys think of how this one turned out?
Go back to that first one. I think it looks good, except for that angle, and maybe it's just the angle, but it looks like he's wearing a hairpiece.
Yeah, this hairline is odd.
Yeah.
I was hoping Jeff Morris would be here because he does collect these pieces. I do feel like from afar it looks really good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
But anyway,
it definitely looks different than the prototype. I can tell you that. I was looking at this piece when they first released it. I don't know if that's just a bad photo.
They usually are
with the hair. Like it's better there, right in this picture.
Yeah.
And it's definitely even the likeness is different than the prototype. Wow, that's quite a bit different. But I think it looks pretty good, other than this picture right here.
Yeah.
Worry you at all about our Joker, Dan?
No, honestly,
it's not an actor likeness.
Right. There's that, and the pieces that I have behind me from Iron Studios, I'm very happy with. So, I have no reason to doubt them to date.
Yep. This one is from our friend Thor Gunderson at DCX. Congratulations on this piece. He got this really awesome Darth Vader. This is from XM Studio.
That's awesome.
I love Darth Vader. Like, he's one of my favorite villains. If I could have a whole Darth Vader room, I would. But I was just really impressed. I thought this looked so good.
Yeah. What scale is that?
Quarter.
Is it really? Wow.
That's quarter? Man, it almost looks like legendary scale, like half scale.
Yeah, it's just so good. And this was the one, I think, that they had like the 3 different versions. Like, it had Anakin in front and the little kid Anakin. And I didn't think that those were all that great, but Vader, I love the base on it too. I think the base is cool.
It's a cool print that he has behind it.
Which I didn't even see it. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I wonder I'll have to ask him where he got that. That's really cool.
He's always got like some really cool Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, he does.
He's got amazing collection. But anyway, I just had to show that. So congratulations again to Thor. Had some in-hand photos of the Daniel Bell Wolverine, and also the Thanos. Have you guys seen these in hand yet?
I saw this one. Yeah.
So this is the thing that confuses me. So these were billed, weren't they, as 1/3 scale?
Yes.
And this is Wolverine next to a quarter scale Bane.
Did you see the Thanos comparison to the Thanos on Throne?
Yeah, I've got it too. Let me go to it.
Jeez.
So to me, that doesn't say that it's 1/3 to me.
No.
So you would think that like the Wonder Woman and the Batman, the Superman also will all be more quarter scale than 1/3.
Could be.
Because I was pretty shocked by that.
Yeah.
Because I assumed they would be much bigger.
Yeah, there's also a picture online of the Thanos on throne portrait compared to that portrait. And this one is smaller than the Thanos on throne portrait.
Crazy. Wow. That's crazy to me.
And Chris, I've got that Bane portrait next to Catwoman, and she's not a big piece, right? And she scales pretty well with Bane here.
Yes.
So if that's the same size as this Catwoman PF, that's pretty small.
Pretty small. Yeah. Which, you know, again, that the price point on those were amazing.
Yeah.
So that would explain to me, you know, I thought for a third scale piece, I like, man, that price is like, aren't they like $250?
Right.
And so I'm like, well, that's a really good price, but now maybe that explains why.
Yep.
But I think I do think it turned out really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations to those collectors that got it. So
yeah, they look great.
Everything. Let's see. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Oh, you can see my arm off the Batman there. Knocked it right off.
Someone earlier in the chat said that your head looks underscaled compared to Batman there.
My head?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see how we match up here. His head's way bigger than mine. See? All perspective, folks. It's all That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, did I miss anything in the chat?
I want to say someone asked a question earlier, and I can't remember if we had touched on it. I'm kind of scrolling through here real quick. I want to say it was from, let's see, who was it? It was somewhat earlier on.
Oh, well. Here, hey, Statue Mania. Pop culture.
Pop culture. Yeah, no. Oh well.
There's a lot of comments in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told my family to make sure that their presence was seen.
When I'm showing pictures, I can't see the chat. I hate that. Oh, here's one more vote for Get Both Harleys.
I got something cool today.
Yep. There you go.
What'd you get? Here, let me.
Volume 2.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize it was a second version.
Oh, it's really cool. It's got some great prints in it. It's got like 4 Supergirls and 4 Catwomans, and it's got the Mira that the Prime 1/3 is based on. It's got the Supergirl that the Prime 1/3 is based on. Some really, really nice prints.
Yeah, I think he's coming out with a Marvel one too. I noticed.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Does it show the other pictures on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good you can see them. I'm going to do a review probably later tonight.
Okay.
I can get this to show, but it's hard to.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we can see them. They look pretty good.
Yeah, we can see them real well.
Mm-hmm.
The Wonder Woman's awesome.
I'm really bummed because the Planet Comic-Con that I was supposed to go to, Art Germ was going to be there. So I didn't get to meet him, but I don't know if I'll have another chance. But
there's a beautiful Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman print. Crazy.
Awesome. Congrats, Jeff. Somebody asked if the arm's okay. Yes, the arm is okay.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Thank God for carpet.
How's the boot on Dan's?
Oh yeah.
Is it good?
Oh, the boot's good. The boot survived. It actually landed on the keyboard of my computer. So soft MacBook landing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, the amount of times that I've dropped something, and I said I had a breakage not too long ago with my Noel piece. But again, carpet. Make sure I'm not a big fan of carpet except in the Batcave.
I have never done an unboxing. I'm sure I'd break it.
I'm sure.
I'd screw it up for sure.
It's crazy. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out?
Well, I had a CGC come in Batman one, so hold on. Let me go get it real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else have anything coming in the next month or so?
I've got the Batman Who Laughs Ben Oliver print from Sideshow coming tomorrow.
You're killing me.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh,
Dan, I had that thing. I had that thing in and out of my cart at least 4 times.
Well, I had kind of taken the same approach, Mac, and I was in the same place until I saw a collector post a picture of that print behind the statue, and it looks amazing.
So
guys-
whatever you.
Are you guys
All right,
ever amazed? Are you guys ever amazed how much alike we all are?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
My wife all the time.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Just do me a favor and do not post a pic of that. I
Oh
can
yeah,
see.
that probably
Okay?
won't happen, Mac. I'm gonna.
I'm not
personally.
Oh no.
Dan, did you get the
Oh,
framed version?
I did. Yeah. I think they do a great job, and I know I can save a little bit of money, but
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
you're killing
like
me.
you. I'm like you, Dan. I prefer to I know you can save money, but when you go and you have it done like professionally, it's still gonna cost you just almost just as much. So
exactly,
it's almost worth just getting it.
And not to mention the time and energy. So it's worth
Right.
Oh, it's so expensive.
Right.
I'm actually in the process. I have half of my prints on the floor over here, and then on one of my cabinet drawers, it's full of the poster rolls of prints that I've gotten over the years and stuff like that. And I still got to measure them out and see if I can get the frames now. I try to go to Michael's when they have deals and they have the mat already, and I just do it myself. Super easy, super clean, looks good. But for those odd shaped ones like you, Dan, 100% professional.
Yep. 149 watching right now. Boom. Awesome. Let's get it to 150. Tell your friends. Come on, we need more family members.
I've told all my family, so I don't know where my nieces and nephews are.
Okay, Rick, what was your book?
There, bam.
Do what, Jeff?
What was your book that you got in?
Oh, so I got this from eBay. I got The Batman Who Laughs. Hold on here. #1, signed by Jock and Scott Snyder.
That's awesome.
At 9.4.
Nice.
Yeah, and this was one of the covers. This was one of my grails.
Very nice.
Nice.
That's so cool.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And he actually has another one on eBay right now. It is the last issue he did on Detective Comics, issue 881, signed by Jock and Snyder. I want to say it's a 9.6 or 9.8. But it's going for an outrageous amount, like some $200 or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I got this for. Actually, I actually made an offer to the guy. The guy had it listed for, like I think $90, and I offered like 75.
Wow.
Or 70, and he took it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is the one that I want to get the signed version.
That's
Oh,
good signed.
The Jock, I really want it.
Yep.
I just love this cover.
Yeah, that is a nice cover, but I never, not in a million years would I've ever thought that they would depict Batman as like kind of quote unquote the Punisher without the skull, and I really like this cover. So yeah,
that's great. That's a great cover. Congrats again. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I got a new comic too.
What do you got?
So if you're in my Facebook group, then you've already seen it, but guys know I like Golden Age.
Yeah.
So this is it's hard to get a good shot at it, but this is Wiz Comics number 33 from 1942.
Oh wow!
And it shows Captain Marvel, also known as Shazam, and it's actually a crossover with Spy Smasher. So Captain Marvel is punching Japanese soldiers, and Spy Smasher is catching them and putting them into a pile.
Yeah. let me get closer there. Here, angle it a little bit. You got your
down.
You have your computer
There
screen.
you go.
There you go.
That's better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff I like.
That's
man,
cool.
that's almost
It
like
says
a
next.
Captain America ripoff almost.
Yeah.
Wiz.
Yeah.
You always have these awesome obscure comics. I love it.
You know what? There's something about combining superheroes with World War II that I just love. So I really gravitate towards those covers.
It's a great time.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's just such a great. It's iconic. This is where these characters came from.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just it's doesn't get much better than that. So I said it's show your comic book hour. Does anybody else have any books to show?
New book.
All right,
got
Dan,
new
you got one?
So
No
Justice
pressure. No
League-
I
pressure.
don't have any
Mac.
books to show.
Justice League number 8.
Oh, I love
Look
it.
at that.
Look at
I
it.
love it.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
that's
beautiful.
Very
Oh,
good.
I love it.
Yeah,
love
that
it.
was nice.
Yep, that had to happen.
Oh, Jim Lee, baby.
Jim Lee, baby. I've got my Jim Lee collection growing by the week.
Oh,
Hey, we should thank Levi in the chat. It's 3 a.m. where he is right now.
Levi,
Oh, damn, Levi.
you're the man.
Yeah.
Where's Levi? He's
So-
in London.
London.
Hey,
Wow.
Levi.
Awesome, man.
What are you doing up? Shouldn't you be sleeping?
Go to bed.
You had to watch the show. You had to
Yeah, I'm
watch
so
the show.
glad.
Talk about dedicated.
No
Man.
kidding. No kidding. I appreciate it, Levi. That's awesome.
Are we at 150 yet?
Yeah, we're at 151 right now.
All right.
I got some slabs. I didn't get anything new, so I'm
Yeah,
not-
Mac, what are you doing?
Show us something, Matt.
Man, what a slacker. What a slacker.
they're not new. I mean, I've had them. Like, what do you want to see? What do you want to see?
What's
Your
on?
favorite?
I tell you what, Mac, I'll give you a minute and I'll show what I did. That way it'll give you some time. So I know,
Okay. All right.
Dan,
Here,
yeah,
let me-
it'll give you a minute. So,
All right.
so Dan and Chris know I worked on this, but I put up some shelving for my CGCs.
Yeah, this is
Hopefully-
awesome.
Can see it. So I put some shelving up, and
Very good.
what I did was I got some PVC board, and just so there we go. So I can move it, I can replace them,
Yeah.
and I can switch them out at any time if I feel like it. It was super easy. All I did was go to Home Depot. I got some PVC board, which was already intact, and then I ordered some cable runners off of Amazon, and I cut those in half, and then I just screwed them on right into the wall.
Looks like you're a Burn X-Men fan.
It's funny. Well, yes, I am. Wolverine's my favorite X-Men character. I really like the X-Men. And the funny thing is, I didn't even think about it, but a buddy of mine, when I showed it to him, he goes, "Oh, that's your oh man, now I totally forgot what he said. He said that was my shrine to the X-Men."
Yeah. There you go.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
It looks great.
So
I want to give a shout out. People are here from Singapore. 10 a.m. there.
that's my family.
Oh, AJW. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. We got somebody from New Zealand. 2 p.m.
Nice. Very good.
Nice.
Wow.
I mean, it's not as good as the 2:45 in the morning, but it's still pretty. That's still pretty hard. We're just glad you're here. That's awesome. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
but it's 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Oh,
Yes.
that's true.
That is.
So
Yeah.
so I think they win, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. That's right.
He knows the future.
He does. It's amazing. Time travel is possible. That is awesome. Hey, I like Show Your Comic Book Hour. This is pretty
Yeah,
good.
right.
Well, I don't want to put you guys at shame, but that's my comic book collection right there. Those 3 cabinets.
Oh my
Very
God,
nice.
the full?
Wow.
Those 2, and then the small one. So the small one is my admin cabinet, and then A, B, C, all that stuff, and it goes through all the way here, and then it goes, all the way to this drawer. I have my graphic novels kind of floating in this one, and then this cabinet right here has the poster boards, and then it has my swap outs in them.
Okay.
You are insane.
Nice. Yeah.
I had to organize. I had too many long boxes, short it was a mess. And I came across this group on Facebook, if you don't mind the plug, comic book file cabinets or comic file cabinets, and that's where I got the idea. I found those all on Facebook Marketplace for all 4 of them for less than $100.
That's awesome. That's
Yep,
great.
from 3 different people. So 2 of them I got for $20 each. One I got for $30, and I think another one I got for like $10 or something.
So do you send a lot of books to CGC then from that cabinet, or just
Believe it or not, I have not sent anything into CGC. I have actually got my CGCs from comic sketch art, and off of eBay is where I've gotten mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I have a total of 19 or 20 CGCs. Of that, I have 4 signed. One X-Men signed. It's Uncanny X-Men 212. That's signed by Chris Claremont. The one I showed you guys. And then I have 2 Jim Lee covers. The Hush cover I have signed from him. And then I have one from Gabriel Del Otto signed.
Nice.
The foil.
Nice.
He signed a foil one.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's very cool. That's awesome. I've had a lot of fun getting those books. It's hard for me to justify. You know, they're $100 here, $100 there.
Yeah.
But they sure are fun to collect.
They are. And you know, I know we had that conversation, Chris, but don't be afraid to offer, make a counter offer. You know, that's actually how I got this one. You know, that's how I got this one. I made an offer to the guy. The guy was selling it for like 90 something bucks, and I did like $20 drop, and he took it. I was like, oh, and it was one of those like Hail Mary offers, like, oh, there's no way he's gonna. No, he took it.
I do that a lot with like statues where I'll throw a super low ball offer because I know they won't accept it, and then I know I won't have to buy it, and then sometimes they have to do. I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy. You're just hoping that you'll be able to get it, but
And then
really,
you get trapped. You're like,
money,
oh no, I gotta pay it.
now I gotta pay it. That's right. Yeah, yeah. I've done that a few times here and there.
The X-Men ones, all except for 212. 212, I actually got from an auction from mycomicshop.com. They have weekly auctions, and I got that from one of their auctions. But the rest of them, all the X-Men ones that I got were actually, and Jeff might know this if you guys don't, but there was an auction last year from a guy in Phoenix, I think, and he had the most highly like CGC X-Men collection. It was like, the Key Comic Collection, I think is what it was called, or something like that. And I came across it, and it was just like, oh man, if this is out of this guy's collection, let me try and get some. And I was outbid by a lot, so I just tried to get what covers I liked, and I ended up getting about 16, I think, something like that.
Okay.
Awesome.
It's interesting with the virus going on. You would think that comics would not be high on people's priority list, but Gold and Silver Age comics are doing very well at auction right now.
Yes.
Very well. They're not hurting at all. And maybe it's because since, the economy is hurting a little bit, people want to go to tangible assets instead of stocks.
Mm-hmm.
That happens sometimes in a recession.
Yep.
You're not hurting right now if you're offering comics or Golden Age or Silver Age comics.
Yep. Yeah, I've actually got you've probably seen it, but I have a pile over there on the table that I've got to sort through and post up and sell. I actually ended up getting that CGC, the X-Men CGC guys that I posted. I ended up getting that sold, and I've got a whole bunch of other books and whatnot to kind of post and see if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are over the 2-hour mark. I really apologize for keeping you guys so late. I think this probably is our longest show. I think.
It's only 7 o'clock here.
People, how many people?
Hey, that's early for you.
I haven't even had dinner yet.
That's well, I'm sorry for keeping you. I hope I didn't get you in trouble with the wife. Hopefully not.
No problem.
What was the count?
Right now we're at 130. We were at over 151 at some point. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome. People from all over the world watching, so I really appreciate it. That just means the world to me. And guys, this was awesome conversation tonight. Really enjoyed it. It'll be interesting to see over the next couple months. We were maybe even thinking about talking a little bit about as San Diego Comic-Con, the virtual San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll bump that back to next show. I'm not sure if it's the next show, but I think we might have a guest from a Diamond Select. I think Zach's going to come on and talk a little bit about that. I'm anxious to see if that affected them in any way with not having DC anymore, because they make DC items and Marvel items. So that'll be interesting. But anyway, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Again, thank you guys for watching our live unboxing the other day. That was just so much fun. I do have this Batman. He's going to be I've already filmed the review, and so that'll be up in the next day, probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure, but that's ready to go. And anything else you guys want to say before we head out?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Visit Jeff at Secret Sanctuary. Visit Mac at Mac Collections. Show them some love. Give them some subs for sure, and give them likes. That definitely helps their channel out a lot. So thank you guys for that. Thanks again to Dan for being on the live show last night. Thanks to Rick for being here as well once again this week. I really appreciate it. Appreciate seeing your new books and your collection as well. So that was awesome. So
Thank you, sir.
very, very cool. So we'll see you guys probably in a couple weeks for Rogues Gallery Live. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the Batcave.
See you guys
Bye,
later.
guys.
Everybody.
Take
Hi,
care.
everybody.